Hello everyone, this is Rick and welcome to a Minecraft tutorial, I guess. Um, kind of. If you look way over in the distance there, you'll see my Castle of Lions and some of the other tutorial things that I've built over the years. This is my testing world. This is where if I come up with an idea and I just want to try stuff out, I might build something. And we are here to show you guys how I come up with my ideas. In this particular case, we are going to make the Thundercats Castle of Lions. I'm not going to build the whole thing. That would take too much time, and I've already done that. I am going to show you how I did it. Not just building it, but the thought processes behind it. I think that's more important. Because I want you guys to be able to look at something that you might want to put in your world and think to yourself, I can do that. I can put that in my world. By breaking it down and figuring it out. So that's what we're going to work on now. So let's start at the beginning. Which is, you have the idea. In this case, it's the Castle of Lions. Or not the Castle of Lions. That's the Castle of Lions over the cat's lair from Thundercats, which looks like this. Ain't it pretty? Now, how are you going to build that? Well, I'm using this picture. In the original build, I think I used this picture as my idea. Not entirely similar. If you'll really pay attention to the pictures, you'll see like there's not as much definition on the ribs here. This little thing is kind of washed out, where in here you get a lot more detail on it. So I do like this picture better. But it's important to figure out what you're looking at. So what are we going to start with? We're going to start with the levels. And I went ahead and I drew some lines because I'm playing around in Photoshop, so why not? These are my horizontal levels. You've got this line at the bottom, which is this floor. I don't know why I put that line there. I don't need it. Let's get rid of that to avoid confusion. Oops, nope. I did not want to do that. I'm on the wrong thing. Let's lock that before I mess it up. Yes, I want to erase that. So this is the main floor. This is the bottom. We got another floor here. Another floor there. You've got this line, which is where the top of the claws are, and you'll notice even in the cartoon drawing, they're not level. So don't worry too much about being level and being perfect. Just see what's there. Then I drew another line here because this is where kind of the shoulder pads are. If I take it away, you can see it's got this little curvy thing, which I didn't put in my Minecraft world because I didn't catch it. Because remember, I was using this picture and it didn't have as much detail. Then of course you've got the top of the neck and the head. So first of all, let's talk scale. We want this to be something that you can walk into as a Minecraft character. Well, we know that Minecraft characters are 2 blocks tall. We also know that doors are 2 blocks tall. And right here, you can't really see it. Why is that not letting me draw nothing? Why is that layer hidden? Oh, because I don't have that on. Let me erase these lines. Get rid of that for a minute. What we're going to focus on is that right there. because that's going to give us our scale. Because we've got a normal door and a little bit of a hallway, and then we're going to build out from that. But we've got to start at the bottom, so we're not actually going to build anything here. We're going to build this first. So let's take a look at this. Got a stairwell going down here. You've got this, which is sort of the center line for where the door comes down the stairs. And we got this level right here, and this level. They're not exactly the same height. I might want to make them the same height just to make it easy on myself. And you also have these little windows. Now, what this tells me is how big this is. Because if we switch back over to our game and switch, there we go, we know that your normal building has a floor. How do you do that? And then so this way, if you're standing here, you can look out the window. So if we go back, we now know how big this has to be. So let's get rid of all these red lines. And there's a little bit of detail here with some, offsets. You can put those in if you want. I don't think I did on my last one. But that's a good starting point. So let's go ahead and get back over to the game. There we are. And we're going to start building a few things. Oh, by the way, when I said I was talking about the door, this is kind of my first attempt at building that door, just to get an idea of scale. The gray on the bottom and the gray on the top are just to represent where the different floors are. If I were building this as a full, I wouldn't use the stones. I'd use more of the block of quartz. I just did that so you'd see the difference, that this is a floor, these are the walls, this is the area. So we need an area to start building all this. I'm just going to flatten this one little bit out. Again, I'm not going super crazy. I'm not going to try to fit it in that mountain area over there because, well, first of all, that's way too small. What kind of bird are you? I do want to flatten this area. Oh. Okay, so we're going to have our floor. So we need to build that first. I need it to be an odd number because remember, we're going to have one piece in the center. So we'll set that as the center line. 4 blocks by 4 blocks. That's good. And we're going to build way back here. Because remember, we got that whole big platform. And the 2 arms, which it does kind of do that for now. We're going to say okay, started there. Okay, so that's the main platform. And if we look back at the picture, we'll see, bring it back up. This platform, aside from the curve at the front, okay, let me erase the line so you can see it better. You know, this part back here is, I hope this is coming clearly. This part back here is flat. It's even. It doesn't curve. Like, it doesn't seem like it slopes backwards. You know, it's straight across. It doesn't bend like this piece bends and like this piece bends. So this is just straight wall. So how are we going to build that? Well, we have one set of windows, another set of elevated windows, third set of windows, and then the wall. So we need to be able to build that, but we also need to make sure we leave room for the stairs. So let's put the stairs in first. I have quartz stairs already, so now we are going to, in this one, we are going to recess those windows. And we're going to do that by building two sets of windows. So we're going to need a floor to come out some more. And by the way, this is not set to any kind of scale. Like, you don't have to say it, you know, it's exactly 4 blocks this way, 4 blocks that way, and then curved back like this. This is just my preliminary attempt to make this work. It will change as we build. So we have a bit of wall. And then we have the first recessed window. Not there. Then we have another bit of wall. Where we have that higher window. Then again, we have another recessed window. And we have just a bit of wall, and I'm going to use 2 blocks for that. Now in the picture, it's sort of triangular. So it's up to you if you want to try to make it a bit more triangular. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, you know what? I don't hate that. Now there's one more rows of block there. I'm going to put another row there. And I'm going to need another set of steps. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Diorite might be what I'm looking for. No. Polished diorite. Because there's this little lip. And then there's the next wall, which in this case does have a little bit of a difference in texture to it. So I'm going to do just a block of iron. So I'll make that 2 or not. I think we'll leave that like that for now. And then this will be our next wall. And I'm going to delete all this because it's not scaled properly. See, that's why I said you really can't go by a specific setup until you know what you need. I mean, I like having the stairwell be 3 blocks wide because it works for a couple of different reasons. But I didn't know how far out the stairwell was going to have to go. This is why we're starting over and rebuilding it. Now, if you want some color differentiation, you can do something like that with the stairs. You know, going back to the picture, it was more just white like everything else. So mine are going to stay this way. I don't like that. I went out one too many. Like I said, it's okay to change things. Adjust it as you go. It's not, nothing is set in stone here. As long as when you're done, it just kind of looks like what you're looking for. Alright, so now what we need to do is just recreate this on the other side. Come on. Might put a light source in there. Might put another one there. Don't know. I don't know if that would end up being sealed up or not. Again, those are kind of the choices that you're going to end up making when you're building this. Because you might see something I'm building here and be like, you know, I don't really like the way that looks. And that's okay. It's your world. Feel free to change it. Oh, so I need 2 more blocks and then the window. 2 more blocks. There's your window. And okay, we're making good progress. And there's your first floor. I'm just kind of eyeballing how I want this to look, because it does have a rounded edge to it, and I kind of like that roundedness. And now, because we have the first floor kind of set to scale, let's go back. Oh my god, this whole time I've been on the wrong picture. I didn't flip this over. Okay, let's go back to the game. Okay, so I need to pay attention to what I've got on where. All right, we're keeping it all in because I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. So what I did is I made the 3 sets of windows, using the standard 3 blocks, and I just took a little dent in here to give it a little bit more of that triangular feel. Actually, I'm going to change something here real quick, so I just want to see how this looks. Oh yeah, doing that instead. Wrong way. Okay, so those are your triangles. 3 windows on one side, 3 windows on the other side. And I don't like that. I want to make that window higher. Like that better. Okay, so to recap, what you didn't see, because I didn't switch the image over, I built out just a basic floor with a slight curve in it, because that's what we saw in the picture. I found a center point, which I marked right there, and then I built the 3 windows. Once I knew how big across the 3 windows were going to be, I repeated it on this side. And for reference, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bricks across. Okay, actually 13, and then 1 in the middle. So you got 1 here, and then you got 13 going across this way. And then, again, the 1 in the middle, and 13 going across this way. So it's 27 altogether, if my math is right. And then I just started from the top here and built down the stairwell. And these are just some decorative touches I made to make the next level stand out a little. I hope you see where I came up with that. I'm gonna just kind of let this image sit like right here for right now, so you can take a good look at it. It's even on both sides. So what you see in front of you, you just repeat the pattern on the other side, and then you have your main floor. And then we can just, fill all this in with brick. Make it all nice and flat and even. And I need to delete you now because you're going to be in the way. And I can delete you too because I don't need you. Okay, so if that's our main floor, I'm going to go back to the picture again. And let's erase all this red stuff. And I'm going to erase this black line as well, because what you can see, get out my red line here, we have this floor, which is just about even with that line. And we also know that the curve, it kind of curves and then it kind of goes out flat. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep the curve. So the curve is going to end right there. So now we know how big to make this. And I'm going to say that that's only going to be 1 block wide. And I'm going to say that the gap between here and here, this little area, I'm going to say that that's 2 blocks tall. So, back to the game. And we know that this is going to come out and come out to the end of the curve. And we also know it's not perfectly square like that, so it's going to have a little bit of a bend in it. How strict of a bend do you want? That's going to be up to you. Then we're going to come out 2 blocks. Actually, we're going to come out 3 blocks. Come up 2. We're going to come up even to this. And we're going to come up 2 blocks more at a curve. And we're going to go all the way back. Now it is going to go back further once we build the next floor, but for right now we're just going to build it to there. So let's fill this in a little bit. Let's fill this in as well. And now we have our start. Let's go back to the picture. Let's look at the fingers for a minute. I'm thinking 3 blocks wide. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm thinking 4 blocks wide, because I'm thinking there's going to be 1, 2 blocks for each of those. No, actually, I'm thinking 5 blocks wide. So we have 1 block there, 2 on the side, 2 on the side, and then a gap, 5, a gap, and then another 5. And again, I'm just basing this on how it looks in the picture. And am I going to like that when I'm done? Because I think, now that I've said that, these fingers are going to be way too big. So clearly they are. So I'm going to make them 3 and not 5. Now for the gap in the middle, we're going to cheat a little bit. Because we know it's a different color. Where is my... There it is. No, not terracotta, concrete. And instead of hoping that the shadows do it justice, we are going to just put a black line right in there. We're just going to go 1 row back. And 1 row less. And we're going to drag that all the way down. Not sure how I feel about that. Now, if you did use something, instead of using the concrete blue like I'm using, if you could use something else, if it has matching stairs, you can kind of round things off a little. In my case, I'm not doing that. Also, there is the question of the claw and how we're going to attach that. I need to get underneath here. I think all I'm going to do is that. I really like that. Nah, don't like that one as much. Okay, so now we have the arm. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't know that I like it. I think I like that better. Yeah, from a distance, like that better. Okay, yeah, I like that better too, because now you can really see the claws. I'll just knock out this whole thing of land right here too. This isn't something you have to do just aesthetically. I want to do it. I think it's a bit more pleasing. If it matches this whole thing. May actually. Anyone else notice the problem? I've got my floor up one too many. And that right there that's why I don't do tutorials in general. Not that I have anything against them, it's just I'm constantly changing my plans. 3, 3. Okay, now it's even done. forgot how high I said we're going to make that. Okay, so if I've done this correctly, these should line up, and it looks like they do. I think. Yes. Okay. How much higher did we go? 3 blocks? Yeah, 3 blocks. How did I mess this up? That's how. Okay, I'm off somewhere. That's where. Sometimes it's just easier to draw the line than it is to figure out anything else. That's not right at all. That's correct. It'd be faster for me to do it this way and then just cut the lines out than it is to try to go one by one and place it brick by brick. So that's why I'm doing this way. All right. So that's a pretty good start on building the cat's lair. And I got all of that just from looking at this picture and figuring out where the lines go. But we're not close to being done, clearly. When we come back, we'll work on this next layer and the arms. Because again, it's not so much about how I built this one particular model as it is I want you to understand my thought processes so you can do this with any other builds. You know, I want you to be able to say, oh, hey, I see where he built this thing. I see how he figured out how to do this. Because I was there when he walked me through his thought processes and all the weird things and all the mistakes and all the fun. Because that's the best part. Listen, if you're not screwing things up, you're not doing it right. You know, nobody ever learns from perfection. You learn by saying, oh, well, that didn't work. What does? Okay, so when we get back, we'll start working on the second floor. But until then, press the wrong button. That was the wrong button. Have fun, play games, enjoy yourselves, and I will see you in part 2 of making this base. Bye.